back to Citizen Development Live. I'm your host, Neil Miller. Today, our guest is Jeff Troksa. He's a project management analyst at Motorola. Hey, Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, Neil. Thanks for having me. Good to talk to you.
Absolutely. You're one of the people we love to talk to because you have a great story about your career, how you've gone on, and citizen development plays an important role in that. So let's just start with you. Tell us a little bit about your career journey and how you got to be where you are right now.
Okay, great. I work for Motorola Solutions, which right off the bat I want to point out is a public safety company. So think radios, software, and video security technology, and not cell phones. The common misconception about Motorola today, it's no longer a cell phone company, at least the one that I work for. But anyway, I joined Motorola over 10 years ago, back in 2012. So in millennial years, like a lifetime ago. But I'm in my current role as a management analyst. I've been in this role for about 3 years now. But before that, uh, I've been in several different roles, including customer service, like tier one desktop support roles,
Yeah.
several years in inside sales. But my current role is within the project management org, and it was here where I was first introduced to KissFlow and what we now call workflow automation tools. I was brought on to be the sole KissFlow admin because the original person that had started implementing KissFlow into the org was moving on. So after some like onboarding from the previous admin, I was kind of given the reins and was kind of on my own to figure it out and continue working on what they started building out in the tool. So when I first started out, the KISS flow I was given was in what I would call the beginning stages of what was being built out, uh, meaning there were a few order in like project related workflows and many other unfinished flows and projects in development. So
Mm-hmm.
my job really was to maintain what was already been built, and of course to continue to expand and integrate new workflows and processes into the app. So although I had no previous experience with KissFlow before being hired as the new admin, uh, I'd say my previous experience in customer service and like tier one help desk support gave me like the knowledge of like Motorola systems and processes to fall back on. So where I kind of had a good footing to learn it out on my own. And uh, also I'd done some like system enhancement testing and building in like a previous roles like for like tier one support. So I think that later helped me kind of catch on with like workflow creation and process building.
Mm-hmm.
So having been the KissFlow admin for almost 3 years now, uh, so I've worked to develop new processes and introduce like new lines of business into the app, and that's kind of been the ongoing role to continually improve and expand workflows. And also responsible for like new hire training and onboarding onto the platform. And now it's currently not just me anymore. I'm now part of a five-person team of, I guess we'd call us citizen developers. I know we're going to get to that term pretty soon. Uh, but our team is called the business tools team, and our role is kind of to like manage and implement like workflow automation apps and other like business tools into the organization. So we manage and maintain like business tool applications, which KissFlow is one of those tools. And I'd also just add, I guess, becoming like a citizen developer has been kind of like an unexpected but natural feeling, like next step in my career journey. And becoming one has really been a great way to kind of use my past experiences and build upon them. Like
Yeah.
instead of just testing changes in like a build for like an enhancement, I get to implement those changes myself. Like actually build a change and test it and make sure that they work and kind of playing around with different solutions. So yeah, that's kind of what's how I got to where I am right now.
Yeah, well, let's dive into that more because your situation is really ideal when we talk about citizen development. You're somebody who knows the system really well. Like you've been, whether it was in customer service or in some other role that you've been in, like you learn those systems really well. You understand what the business needs. You understand what would make the business run better in those situations. But you also don't necessarily have a programming background, right? That's not something you've learned or been skilled in the past.
No, not at all. My previous programming experience, I took one college level like computer science SQL course, which I barely passed. So I'd say coming into the role, I had a love hate, mostly hate relationship with coding, but um, just using the tool itself, it just does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and but also gives you, uh, I'd say, enough like where you could kind of like play around and learn some of it on your own. So in that way, I'd say I've gained like a skill just as like a basic level coder, where enough that I'm like comfortable doing it like a lot of it on my own.
Yeah. So, how would you compare yourself to other colleagues? Because there are other people in those roles you mentioned before, but they're not in the position you're at right now. But you now also have four other people on your team. Like, what do you feel like makes people who work on these business tools different? Like, whether it be just kind of outlook or curiosity or skill set, what is it that makes you different than other people who aren't in your role right now?
Okay, well, we do have one member on our team that is probably more of a like a coding like background, like more like intermediate level. So it's good to have that person to fall back on uh,
Mm-hmm.
in case like I did needed to double check the work or some of the formulas were uh, a little like a little bit more advanced for me to figure out. But I'd say like just having uh, for our team, just having this kind of that uh, mindset for constantly uh, like improving processes and just being open to uh, new solutions and testing out different ways. Just uh, kind of having that mindset, I'd say, is uh, what our team is trying to do within the company and kind of what we're looking to do.
Yeah. So tell us about the business tools team. What you kind of gave a quick overview, but dive into a little deeper. Like, what's your goal in that role? How do you help enable others?
Well, I guess simply enough, I'd say the goal is to keep like improving current processes for myself and to keep like learning newer and better ways to implement change. So I'd say up until we started using workflow automation, there was little change or improvement to many of the processes that I'd been involved in one way or another over my decade plus with the company. These processes were very siloed within their own groups, and oftentimes to just get an update on whatever you're looking for, like your order related, project related, you'd have to go and search through multiple like systems, websites, or send multiple emails, IMs, just to get that status and figure out like what the holdup was for like a customer or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
now that I come to think of it, this is probably maybe over 50% of my time, maybe I'm exaggerating, that I spent during my first few roles in like customer service or help desk, just navigating through just different systems like databases, emails, spreadsheets, just to find what the customer is looking for. While it turned out to be a great way to learn like the ins and outs of the business and how things worked at my company, uh, I'd say a lot of time spent searching for answers like that was time that could have been spent like elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
still like kind of amazes me. I'd say like how a tool such as Kissflow is finally eliminated a lot of this searching and emailing, and finally brought together like a lot of these steps like of a process into a single like app. So for a company like Motorola, this was badly needed for our like ordering processes, many other processes. So in a way, like I'd say the amount of like human hours saved is really a part of the power or benefit as a citizen developer that I would say I and my team bring to the company. And
Absolutely.
then you asked about like enabling. Uh, I think it's kind of the very nature of what I'm doing with like workflow process automation is enabling uh, others to see like processes that like people groups have been working on that are like processes they're familiar with in different and like better ways. So I think like the visibility of a platform like KissFlow that gives like the users the ability to see an entire process from start to finish. That enables them to think of like ways to improve the process or collaborate with like other members of like other teams that are doing a process in ways they never have before. Like for example, like many of the order related processes, like for example, like a change order or return, like
Mm-hmm.
you fill out a form, maybe email it to another team. Uh, you get a case number back. I mean, that wasn't always the case. Sometimes you'd email it off to team, and good luck like finding that in another system. But maybe you get a case number back. Uh, you check that in another system. Should you say or that request you want the current status? The great thing about like process automation is that brings that all together onto like a single platform. So the requester form, like that they fill out, the approval emails, like that come after to get the process going, like the information from the ordering and crediting systems, all together on a single platform. So when everyone sees that request from like start to finish, they could see like when an action has been taken, like how long a part of that process is taking, and with this information, they could start to raise like questions like why is an approval taking so long, or what like process within this process is holding things up, and like how could we improve that. This is what I think is like so enabling about this technology and what we do as like a citizen developer. But I'd say the concept of being able to see the like process from start to finish has been such a game changer for my company. It was something now that seems like so simple and obvious, but was something that was lacking.
Yeah.
Uh, and really a strain on business that I get a great sense of pride personally of being a part of something that's like lifting that weight and those restraints and making like things and processes easier.
Yeah. A lot of our other guests have touched on that feeling of pride too, of feeling like, yeah, we made something better, and it's different. I think for a developer to come in and make a quick workflow, like there's not necessarily a sense of pride in there because they know it's simple. They're just putting things together and making it work. But for someone who knows the usefulness of that workflow or the usefulness of just switching a field in a form or adding some more automation, like you know what that means to somebody. So I think that really brings out the best in it and encourages you to keep pushing on too.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Do most of the requests that you deal with are those things that people come to you and say, hey, I've got this issue, can you solve it? You're kind of more well known in the organization now, so they kind of know what your team does, or do you go out and try to find ways to improve processes?
Yeah, so I guess like in a way like we're our own entity. We're our own like IT team within the project management org. So any questions like issues, enhancements, requests come our way. They come to like our team and not to like an outside like uh, entity or like IT department. So
Mm-hmm.
my team has like full admin rights over KissFlow. Like uh, that's like a great part about it. Like a full like autonomy over like the workflows and like how they're built. Like obviously like it has to match up with like the business teams like needs and what their processes are. But and then we have like full like uh, right over like the licenses for the app. So admitting like who's who we're letting on, who we're removing.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about your relationship with the, let's just call it the standard IT team, people who are in charge of governance, cybersecurity, that kind of thing. What is your involvement? What's your interaction with the IT team like right now inside Motorola Solutions?
So so yeah, so again, that's kind of the great thing about our team is we're kind of like our own IT team with in the organization. So if we needed like to get answers or help from like our local IT, that'd be something like maybe we need help with uh, enhancement to the platform or like integration. So one example of that would be like integrating another system into KISSFlow, such as like auto-populating order-related info into a workflow from our ordering system or like a Salesforce case information. That's something
Mm-hmm.
that I would engage our local IT team with, like getting systems to talk to each other. And I guess the only integrations we're kind of working on would be, or I'm more familiar with, are like email integrations, but I'd say perhaps they want, like our company wants a higher level controlling the information with these integrations, where I would say is the reasoning behind that. Maybe that's security reasons, or maybe because of a higher risk of uh, like breaking something outside of like the KISS in another system. But I don't. I would honestly would be interested in playing around more with like integrations myself within the platform and learning about how to set them up. But that is handled by like I guess you call it like a true like local IT team within our department. And
Mm-hmm.
and then I just wanted to speak a little bit about like low code, no code, how it became like the KISSFlow IT. Uh, Again, I didn't like have any background like coming into the role, but with KISSFlow, I'd say I've been able to figure out about 95% of the coding side on my own thanks to the low code technology. But it doing like the heavy lifting for you and just having like the right mindset, it's been great like for someone to like learn and that wanted to learn to kind of just be able to do like that process of building like on your own like from like start to finish without like the need of like a higher IT.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do you feel like just in terms of where your career started at Motorola Solutions to where it is now, like just talk about how you feel in terms of being able to take those big leaps. Like, are you how much more confident are you in your career and being able to take the skills you've learned now over the last few years and transition them anywhere else?
I'd say it's been like kind of a great introduction into some of the newer like I guess technologies it would make me comfortable looking something more like AI or uh, we're working with like new tools like the business tools what we're do what we're our team is called. So like we're at like the forefront of it, trying to implement like some of these new applications technologies into our processes. So that's just kind of been a great thing for me to learn and just kind of be on the forefront uh, of learning and implementing these new things. Whereas before coming into the role, like yeah, I worked on uh, like Motorola systems processes, but uh, not really with like workflow automation like these applications before. So it's been great like into for myself personally just be able to learn that and something to build on for like the future basically.
Yeah, amazing. And you would say like the team of five that you have right now, about how many people do you serve? Like across, is it across the whole organization or is it across specific departments, or how big is that?
So yeah, so it's the project management org, and on our platform, it's a little under 2,000, and we try to keep that as active as possible. So if they're not using the platform, we want to free up that license, of course. But that is our org, and um, we have like integrated other like smaller forms of KissFlow that were within the company into our platform. So I feel like we're one of the bigger ones, but uh, I do know like Motorola is a large company. It's global, like over 10,000 plus employees. There are other like versions of KissFlow that I know of, but to my knowledge, we're one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
Yeah, amazing. Well, good. Jeff, if you can close us out here, just give us some advice you have for other people who may be in a similar situation to where you were before. They're in a place, they understand systems, they know more is possible, but they haven't really developed their own things yet. What would you give as advice to those type of people?
Sure. First thing I'd say is to be just open to change and ways to improve your current like processes, and just be on the lookout for new and better solutions. 'Cause it still kind of frustrates me to look back at how siloed many of like Motorola's processes were and still are, and just getting like the information like out of your inbox, out of your Excel spreadsheets, or buried in some legacy system and into like a collaborative tool is a much like better thing for everyone involved in the process. And part of my role, I feel, is like convincing others to move on from their legacy processes, legacy systems. And in the case of KissFlow, I can honestly say every process that we have like onboarded onto the platform, we've not had anyone like wanting to go back to the old way of doing things since we made the change. And really, one of the challenging parts of my role has been convincing people like that are set in their ways, like and don't want to change. But and I'd say a lot of like ideas for workflows and requests for enhancements have had to either been like scrapped or shelved, like due to a group or individuals in a process like refusing to onboard into the app and move on from doing the old ways. So that's definitely one of the ongoing challenges, and something that I do my best in my role to uh, get get people get people to move on from like those old ways of thinking, just to improve their situation and the situations for everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I think everything you said just feels like what we need in this moment of people, just encouraging people to be curious, to know that there's a better way to do things out there, that we can bring these systems together. It doesn't have to be as disjointed as it is right now. So that's great. Well, Jeff, thanks so much for being on the show. We appreciate you coming on, sharing your experiences. All the best to you as you continue your great work in citizen development, and carry on to whatever comes next for you too.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.